Hey, what's guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're talking about Klein tools, but specifically talking about Klein tools impact socket set. This one right here. So this one right here, you see 5 sockets, but there's actually 10 sizes, which is why we want to talk about this one, because this is what you really want. You just may not know it yet. So we're going to go over this tool top to bottom, tell you why we think you want this tool, and then we'll get into it. So stick with us. All right, you guys, so like I mentioned earlier, this right here is Klein Tools Flip Impact Socket Set. The model number on this one is 66070. So Klein Tools, to us at least, is mainly known for, fish tape, fish wire, linesman, screwdrivers. Linesman screwdrivers are pretty much things I grew up with Klein Tools growing up, so that's what's most familiar with them, but they also make a bunch of other stuff, right? So that's just what's fond in my memory. Anyways, they make other socket sets. This one right here is one of the, I guess, newer ones. I haven't seen it yet before. This is not sponsored. Nobody sent this to us. We done bought with their own monies. So keep that stuff in mind. But this is not the only socket set that they make. They do make other socket sets. This one right here is not a deep socket set. So if you're looking for a deep socket set, they do make a different model. It just won't be flip socket. So the reason why we like this one is because it allows us to carry a lot more capability into a smaller carry space, right? So that's what's really going on here. So before we get too far into it, let's go take a look at the marketing hype, and then we'll bring you in closer and take a better look at it. So this one right here is the Klein Impact Flip Socket Set. The flip socket set includes 10 different sizes combined into 5 sockets with 2 nested adapters. The impact socket set includes everything from 3/8, 7/16, 1/2, 9/16, 5/8, 11/16, 3/4, 13/16, 7/8, and 15/16. It has an easy to use flip feature, allows you to change quickly between sizes. It's got nested adapters for dual drive between a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch capability. That's actually patent pending. We'll actually talk about that. But I think this thing is mainly designed for impact drivers, not necessarily impact wrenches. It's got the 6-point design. It's got cross-hole design to prevent unintentional separation between the socket and the adapters. Engineered to use Klein's impact wrench. Also, you can use with other impact drivers. The sockets are color-coded to identify size, and also marked with the sizing on there. As you see on here, there's about 5 sockets, but if you include the adapter and stuff, there's about 7 pieces. If you want to include the case, it's about 8 pieces. That's what's really going on there with it. The material Klein says is actually 4140 steel, okay? All right, so this is what you really get with the set. Let's go ahead and set this thing down. Get rid of some of these other sockets we've been using around here. Let's close it up. So if you get it as a case, you get all of this, right? So this is a case. It's a pretty heavy-duty case. It's nothing surprisingly bad or surprisingly good what you would expect from Klein Tools, okay? Pretty simple latch. These latches are plastic. I don't know how they'll hold up in the long term. They'll probably break off, but we'll see how that goes. We've had it for maybe a couple weeks. Been using it every now and then, but where we can. But other than that, it generally seems to work pretty well. So as you see on this case, it's plastic. There's a part here where you can hold the 1/2 inch, I don't know what you call it, an extension driver whatever mechanism. Here is the 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch. So if you're using like a hex, like an impact driver type thing, converts to this, okay? The main reason I'm going to go and say this is designed, I think, for impact drivers, not necessarily impact wrenches, is because these 3 sizes right here, or 6 sizes, I'm sorry, are only work with this 1/4 inch drive, okay? You can't use the 1/4 inch, or these 3, with this one, which kind of makes it, you really have to have it an impact driver, right? Because impact drivers use the 1/4 inch size. Impact wrenches may use this. But other than that, let's go over some of the stuff here, okay? So if you go look at, start off with this big one, there's 7/16 on this one, 15/16 on this one, right? It has got that black oxide type coating type feel to it, or impact type coating, what you would really feel with this. It's got, color bands, which they are recessed into it, so I don't think that they would ever really wear off. This stuff eventually may wear off with heavy usage. But other than that, if you look inside of here, the way that it really works is, you actually put this in here, right? And then that's how it works, right? And if you want to flip it around, you take it off and you flip it on this side, right? So it's easy to identify because it's color coded, right? And this stuff here works well. So that's what's going on with this size. But on this side, this one we use a little bit more. kind of works the same way. But as you can see here, this is light green. This is a dark purple, light purple. So they kind of got something like that going on here. If you look at, they got a dark orange, or if you want to call this even an orange or even a dark yellow, light yellow. and then this one here is a red and an orange, right? Then you got a purple and a blue, right? These two colors look almost similar, but you know, we're not gonna nitpick at that. I really don't mind for that as much, but the colors are obviously nice, right? So let's go and talk about how you would really use this tool, right? So this right here is I don't know, the WR36DE, so it's a 36 volt impact wrench with a 1/2 inch anvil, right? So if you wanted to use this, you can't use it directly, right? You can't do that. You have to use this adapter set. So if you drive this in here, and then you take this and you plug this in here, sorry, then you can easily go at it, whatever you may need to do, right? And it's not loose. You know, it may wobble a little bit from a little bit of play, but it's not loose by any means. It's a pretty solid fit. We haven't had it fall off or had any issues in the while using it, but the connection between the socket and the adapter seemed to be really solid. So solid that, you know, sometimes when you pull it off, it'll actually just pull it off the impact wrench. So what you really have to do is hold it and then pull it off. I guarantee you over time it'll probably loosen up, but you know, just in the couple weeks that we've had it and a little bit that we've been using it, it's still pretty stiff. So that stuff works pretty well like that, okay? The main reason, like I said, going back to saying impact drivers, is because you can't use this. Let's say 11/16, that's a little common, or even 5/8, that's pretty common too, right? I don't know what you guys think is more common, but these are pretty common sizes. Or, you know, if you got some small lag bolts or whatnot, the 1/2 inch one may be common, right? So if you want to use the 1/2 inch one, you can't really put it on here. It doesn't work like that. Even if you pull the adapter off, you can't put this on here either. The way that this one really works, or these six smaller sizes, sorry, but 3 sockets actually work, is there is a square inside of here, not sure how well it's going to come out, that takes the square drive of this adapter. So if you put the square drive adapter in here, right, that's how that really works, but you can't put it on here. So you really need an impact driver, right? So something like this, where you could put it on the Bosch, right? And then it works pretty well. This is the Bosch Freak. It's the interesting setup between, you know, the impact wrench and driver. This I feel like actually works really well because, you know, there's not as much play. It's pretty solid connection. It works pretty well, but you know, that's what's going on with that. So you're probably going to be wondering, well, if I only have an impact driver, how am I going to use these bigger sockets, right? Because these bigger sockets won't fit on here. They've actually created a solution. So in order to use a bigger socket, you take this, and inside of this Klein 6678 is a square drive that's recessed inside of here. So if you wanted to use this setup, right, you could actually go like this, right? This allows you to use larger sockets using this adapter. Obviously, on this impact driver specifically, it's stupid because Bosch has kind of solved that problem by incorporating the, what do you call it, the 1/4 inch hex drive into the 1/2 inch anvil, right? So for Bosch, sorry, I got to get it lined up. This is the one thing I don't like about the Bosch Freak. Sometimes hard to line up. So this is not really a problem. This is a pretty simple solution, but you know, if you have other impact sockets, then you could just get the impact sockets that fit on here directly, right? So if you got something like a Bosch Freak, this is probably the ones that you want to get, right? Because it'll just fit on here directly. You don't have to use adapters, okay? So some may argue this Klein set would be the perfect set for something like the Bosch, and I would agree with you. It's actually a really good set for something like the Bosch, but it's actually the perfect set for just a standard impact driver. So this right here is an M18 fuel surge. So these standard impact drivers is what I would say is the perfect combination because instead of all of this, right, the standard impact drivers only use a hex drive. So with the hex drive, you know, you could actually just use whatever it is that you need, flip it around, use this, you know, use that, but it includes almost all the standard sizes, including the other ones who don't sometimes include it, the 9/16 socket. So sorry, but you know, that stuff works pretty well, but you know, sometimes you have to get those, you know, single adapters to go from a 1/4 inch drive to a 1/2 inch drive, but instead of that, they've actually just incorporated putting this on there and then driving it like so, right? So this actually works well, you know. You can actually use a different, you don't have to use this Klein branded one, you could use a different adapter if you wanted to, but you have to make sure that it is this long in length or else it will not fit into this recessed hole, okay? So don't go out and break this because you'll probably have some issues probably finding a similar one. They're not too rare, but they're not too super common either. So, I mean, this is really designed for probably, if I had to guess, just like electrical work and like HVAC work and stuff like that. You're probably not designed, they're not expecting you to go build decks with lag bolts and stuff with this. Although you probably could, but you know, I'm just saying for this, there's better tools designed for the job, okay? So from what I mentioned earlier, if you were to break this, you can go ahead and buy this one right here. This is a Husky branded one. And the Husky branded one and this Klein branded one, as you can see here, it's almost exactly the same. There's a little bit difference in design, right? The Husky one seems to be, it has a little bit longer rounded shaft here. But the Husky one here, just in case you did break it, it actually works just fine too, right? Because it's pretty standard. So as you can see here on the larger one, there's going to be a lot more wobble. But don't get me wrong, it's still a good fit, okay? So that's what's really going on there. So inside of a 5-piece socket set, they've included about 10 sizes. That stuff works pretty well. Then the reason I say it's for an impact driver is because, like I mentioned, these three you can only use with this. There is room for improvement here, and I want to go out on a limb and say that because look at all the space they have here. With the space they have here, they could go out and just put a 1/4-inch hex drive to a 1/2-inch adapter, right? With this space, they could put it here, 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 whatever, right? Then you don't need to use the combination of these two to make that happen, because the combination of these two is going to be a lot heavier than just one with the bigger end on it. Those will probably break easier, but you know, this probably is a lot more heavier mass to spin, which probably gives you less performance because when the impact hits, it has to spin this additional mass. So just wanted to point that out. Sometimes, you know, if you're afraid that you're going to break that, just stick another one in here. It won't stay there. If you want it to stay there, what you could do is you could take it out, put it in there, right? And then put this in here, right? It doesn't fit perfectly, but it will hold it in there. So you can kind of carry two of those around if you are afraid that you are going to break it. All right, so let's go ahead and close this out. So this set right here is actually retails for right around like 50 bucks. I'm not sure how much it retails for originally, but we got it for about 50 bucks, and it seems right now, I did a quick search and it seems to be around 50 bucks, okay? So 50 bucks, you do get 10 sizes. It's not deep sockets, so it's not going to be perfect for everyone. But if you do want deep sockets, Klein does make a deep socket set. It just won't be flip socket, obviously, because, you know, part of the socket is used for the other sizes. So for that, something like that, you know, something you can just toss in the bag or whatever and carry around like this, it's a great set, 50 bucks. You can't go wrong with it. Klein Tools is usually known for making quality stuff. Like I said, this is not sponsored. The best probably suited for something like this, right? If you are using something like this, you know, you probably find a better set with just dedicated sets, right? Dedicated sockets. Or you could probably also argue it's probably good for something like this because, you know, you could do these sockets directly on here. Not really, but you get a little extension that helps, you know, get more space, right? So some combination of these two, it'll probably be the best fit. But we really like this tool, mainly because, like I said, 10 different sizes in here. They probably could have made it smaller, but, you know, what can we say? Hope this video helped you guys out. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.